Hi, the reflection today forms part of a series during Lent focusing on themes based on passages of the book of Revelation, often called the letters to the seven churches. As you may already know, these were real churches in real places in modern Turkey. And as we learn, they were written by John in exile in the island of Patmos, which is just off the coast of Turkey. And whilst written in the context of the book of Revelation with all its weird and amazing imagery, the letters are engaging and very direct. In their different ways, they lay challenges before the church they're addressed to. I'd suggest they also laid challenges to us here in Ackworth and Badsworth. In this brief reflection, we're going to think about the letter to the church in Sardis and the letter to the church in Laodicea. We'll do so based on the challenge to consider the church as a living community. So you might want to take a moment to consider what that phrase, the church as a living community, means for you and here in this part of the world, especially as we look forward to a new stage in the life of the churches and as our new parish priest begins to prepare to join us in a month or so. So let's think about the letter to the church in Sardis. You can find this in Revelation chapter 3 and verse 1 to verse 6. To set a context, Sardis had been the equivalent of the World Bank back in the 6th century BC. You might have heard of the term rich as Croesus. Well, Croesus was the king of Sardis. And it was a great citadel city built on a rock, thought to be impregnable. However, there was an empire builder, Cyrus the Persian, and he wanted to build his empire and bankroll it with the gold and riches of Sardis. He laid siege to the city and surrounded it. And eventually, although the people thought that the city was impregnable, eventually Cyrus had soldiers climb the rock on which the citadel was built, climb over its walls, and open its unguarded gates. And so the city was overrun and its wealth was taken. Incidentally, this is where we get the idea of coming like a thief in the night, because the soldiers Cyrus sent climbed into the city at night and opened the gate. So the nub of the issue is that the people of the city were proud and complacent. They thought they could just carry on as they always had, that they were secure in who they were, that things would continue. They were wrong. So now the letter to the church at Laodicea in Revelation chapter 3 verse 14 to 22. As with the other letters, the imagery is based on real characteristics of the city. In this case, its water supply, which was consistently lukewarm, neither cold nor hot, as the saying goes. The people were used to this. They were used to things neither cold nor hot. It was situation normal for the church. But the writer is saying to the church community, you need to be one thing or the other. You need a bit of passion. You need to be either cold or hot. You need to know what you're about. To stress the point, we read how the angel of the church wants to spit out the lukewarm church and reject it. You know how it is with lukewarm water. It's often not so nice. Most of us prefer either a good hot cup of tea or coffee, or maybe a nice ice cold drink. None of us, I guess, would by choice ask for a lukewarm drink of anything. So the letter invites the community of Laodicea to have a long, hard look at themselves and to ask, are they cold or are they hot? And to be one thing or the other. Just not be lukewarm. And so to us here in Badsworth and Ackworth, how do we react to the challenge that we might be a little like the church in Sardis, a little complacent, a little self-satisfied, a little of the mind that things just need to carry on and we just need to get a nice, pleasant priest. Maybe how are we here in Badsworth in terms of our passion for the gospel, for the Christian life, for listening to and responding to what God is saying? Or are we simply lukewarm, laissez-faire, do what happens, let things carry on as normal? Remember, the church in Sardis was challenged not to be complacent, to attend to their holiness as individuals and as a community. Remember the church in Sardis, self-satisfied, thinking that they were doing okay, that everything would be okay, but they are not, and it was not. The challenge for us is to look at our life as a living community here in Ackworth and Badsworth. We'll pay attention to what's going on around us, or will we be prepared to be surrounded and overrun by the pressures of the world? Will we pay attention to what's going on within our own lives and the life of our church communities and take action accordingly? One thing is certain, God does not call us to be complacent, sitting on our laurels. So then, come on Christians, come on churches of Ackworth and Badsworth, what are you going to do? What are you going to get on with before God? How are you prepared to respond to those who would lay siege to the church, to those for whom complacency is a statement of decline?